The big hand's on 12 and the little hand's on 10. And it's time to call to order the Cabell County Commission meeting for Thursday, May the 13th, 2021. And we'll begin with a prayer and the pledge. Let us pray. Most gracious Heavenly Lord, open our eyes to behold the beauty of your creation and all the blessings you have given us. May we be guided by your Spirit in the ways of justice, truth, and peace. Grant that we may always prove ourselves a people mindful of your favor and glad to do your will. Save us from pride and arrogance and give us wisdom to do that which is pleasing to you. We ask for your strength that we may faithfully serve the duties of our office to promote the well-being of all people through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen.
And our curly-headed assessor will lead us in the pledge.
Thank you. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Or I'm just jealous, that's the problem.
It's all fun.
Very jealous. First item on the agenda would be to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that's approved. The second item on the agenda would be to approve the minutes from the regular commission meeting of January 17th, 2021, special commission meeting April 20th, 2021, regular commission April 22nd, 2021, and special commission meeting April 30th, 2021.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. We need to approve the erroneous assessments, land consolidation, split tickets, probate documentation from the county clerk's probate office.
Move to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And we need to approve the purchase orders number 21-103045 through number 103415, pay jackets, monthly payments to Fifth Third for fuel card purchases.
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We have on this sheet no citizens registered to speak. Does anybody have anything they would care to say who's not on the sheet? At the moment, at least, and who is not on the agenda. We have a first item on the agenda then would be 2105-13096, presentation by Brian Farkas, West Virginia Conservation Agency. Here.
Oh, just very quickly, I'm Ken Brown. I'm the Guyan Conservation District Supervisor for Cabell County. And just to preface what we're hopefully trying to introduce to you here, we've had a lot of calls, as I'm sure you have, about the Fort Bull Creek watershed. And we get it from the Corps of Engineers. They send it to us. It probably gets to you, I'm sure, also. The ice storm created a big problem. Talking with Chad Nelson, a three-way call, we came up with the idea that we do have something in place, but we need a cooperative effort of all of us, the commission and the West Virginia Conservation Association. With that in mind, this is Mr. Brian Farkas. He's a executive director of the WVCA. He's much more knowledgeable of these things than I am. Maybe we can learn together about something we call 713U. And if that's okay with you, we'll go ahead with Mr. Farkas.
Good morning. I think
Morning.
Last time I was here, I was talking about the Milton flood wall. And so that, despite what people say, you can have progress in government because it's now a well underway and the funding is being provided for that. So hopefully within the next couple of years, town Milton will be protected. What I'm talking about today is dealing with flooding. Do you mind if I take my mask? You can take it off. Thank you. I have been vaccinated, so I'm I'm safe. According to the CDC, I'm allowed to be with other vaccinated people. So, what I am talking about today is flooding. And what we are specifically talking about is the authority that rests in Chapter 7 of State Code for county commissions and municipalities. And it's this code site 713U. And that code site specifically says it's the authority of counties and municipalities to treat streams to prevent floods. And so what we have been working on is going to county commissions and municipalities across the state. And so far, we have 15 county commissions that are signed up. Of those 15, 2 are pending, and one in Wayne County, an agreement with Wayne County is pending right now, and an agreement with Braxton County is pending. And what we would like to do is to use your authority under 713U to enter into a partnership with the Conservation Agency and the local conservation district to start treating streams that are problem areas for the county. And how this works is counties, as you well know, don't necessarily have the fiscal capacity to do a lot of stream work. So these agreements take into consideration in-kind contributions by counties. And what I mean by in-kind contributions is that we would work with you, that if there are permits needed, we would work with the county to obtain the permit, with the municipality to obtain the permit for the work. If there are land rights needed, we would ask that the county and the municipality obtain the land rights. If there's contracting needed, then we would ask the county municipality follow its purchasing guidelines and its purchasing procedures to issue the contract. Now, where does the WVCA come in and the Conservation District come in? We would, under those types of situations, provide the money for these projects. And it would be a situation to where you would then provide the in-kind contribution, we would provide the money. But where the other part of the partnership comes into is that you would work with us to identify these areas. First, you would list the areas like perhaps Fort Poultry, that is a known problem spot. And then our technicians would come work with your local OES officials to look at these spots and determine, okay, what qualifies, what doesn't qualify for some type of mitigation. And then we would then proceed. Now, the 713U agreement itself, and I have, what I will do, since you are the county attorney, I'll hand that to you.
Thank you.
And so what you have there is just a statement of the law, 713U. And you can see that you have, the legislature gave you this authority to deal with a whole host of problems you probably receive phone calls about. But the other nice thing about it is if you ever wanted to move on, you do then have the authority to also go to the taxpayers to seek a levy to then fund these kind of projects in the future. And from my way of thinking, considering that flooding in the state of West Virginia, there have been, I believe, well, first of all, flooding in the state of West Virginia, I've said this numerous times, is economic development in the state, unfortunately. Because we have spent probably $500 million on flood repairs since the 1960s. And if you just look at the 2016 flood that went through the state and the fact that there was a couple of $100 million worth of work there, you can see it doesn't take a lot to start talking about flooding and people being concerned. So if you have the authority, then in the future, if you so choose, you could pass a levy under this law with those funds dedicated to flood protection and flood mitigation. And in some counties, when you look at Cabell County, southern coalfields along, and then from, essentially it's the southwestern part of West Virginia, and flooding there is very prevalent. It could be as important as a fire levy or an ambulance levy. And then you would have the wherewithal to go and do some work. But that's not the reason for today's talk. It's just showing that when the law was passed, that could be a potential. The purpose of today's talk is to see if you would be interested, after your review, to enter into a 713 agreement. And now what you have with you is the master agreement that spells out the conditions. And then for every project that we would do, such as if we went and entered into a project in Four Pole Creek, there would be a sub-agreement to that 713U agreement that would then specifically outline the roles and responsibilities for the job that would be undertaken. And so in that, you have a blanket agreement, and then you would have sub-agreements that we would come back to, that the county commission would then be aware of what is going on, so therefore you would have the ability to go back to your constituents and say, we are addressing this issue. Or if you get a lot of calls from constituents in a particular watershed, you can initiate a project by contacting us, and then we can look at it. So it's just it's a way to develop a partnership that works. If you don't have the capital, the funds to put into it, in-kind contributions will work. Some counties have had money to put into it. I'll give you an example. Up in Marshall County in 2017, there was a very severe flood storm that resulted in a flood that wiped out a bridge to a housing development. Now, this project, 713U, we as a conservation agency cannot work on private bridges, but under this agreement, we were able to bring VOAD in, and that's that voluntary organization. So they were able to come in. We were able to take care of the stream damage up to the bridge. VOAD was able to replace the bridge, and the Marshall County Commission contributed some money for that to occur, and so, to the VOAD for the bridge to occur. So, I mean, that was a project that would not probably have happened if it hadn't been for 713.
Does the Corps of Engineers agree and then have to follow along what is done and that sort of thing, I guess?
What we would most likely need for these type of projects would be a Corps of Engineers permit. And that's where we then also supply the technical expertise because of the relationship we have with the Corps in the Huntington District or the Pittsburgh District in the state. So it's generally for these kind of things, there are two ways that we approach these 713U agreements. There is the declared event, emergency event. And under the declared emergency event, we specifically, the WVCA specifically has a region permit, a regional permit with the Corps that allows us to go in and do work. And then anything that falls outside of those declared events, that's when we go in and bring the Corps in and have a discussion. So it just takes a little bit more. But yes, the Corps is involved in something, depending on the type of work being involved.
So you're asking us to take this under consideration?
I don't know how you operate. I would think that you might want to review it and, then come back and ask some additional questions. And if that's the case, then that's, I don't want to force you into something, I guess is what I'm saying. I want to give you time to think about it, and then ask any questions, have your attorney look at it and see if it's fine. I will tell you that these agreements have evolved since the first one was passed, approved by a county commission, and the agreements have evolved to the point that at somewhere along the line, people were concerned that because the law allows you to, with eminent domain, that these 713U agreements want to make it very clear that this is not eminent domain. We're not talking about coming in, and so that's actually stated in the agreement, that these are for projects that are damaged either because of flooding or because of concern, and they don't have, you're not coming after people's property in order to have it done. That's entirely different areas.
And I don't know if you had a chance to read it yet or not, but Chad had sent you all an email with this agreement attached to it and some explanation of discussions he had. I believe you've been discussing with Brian.
Right. I guess what the big point was, it allows us to do something rather than compels us to do something.
Right.
That's the way the law reads, right?
And it authorizes you, it doesn't mandate.
Right.
And even possibly offers money.
Well, we would be and the district would be the ones who would be offering the money. But yes, exactly. So, I mean, we're not, you'll have to be careful with us and look at our teeth once you get into an agreement with us.
Questions, anybody? Anybody?
Well, if
I
the,
have one question. But when you mentioned in-kind contributions, can you cite maybe a couple specifics?
Sure. What is the most common in-kind contribution that we seek is, none of these projects can occur without land rights, okay? Because you're walking onto somebody's private property and they have to give us permission. So because we would then ask you to obtain those land rights, because you would generally know the people or know the area much better than we would, okay? The other thing that we would ask is that these projects are contracting. Well, your contracting procedures, your purchasing procedures, you already know your purchasing procedures. We would ask that you would award the contract, you would do the advertising, we would work with the specifications for that advertising, and then you would actually do the advertising and then run the contract, and then we would pay you for the work, okay? That way, we're not going through the state purchasing for that, and you have your own purchasing. And then the third would be for the permit, that we just would ask that when you seek a permit, that you need to have the party there who the permit's name is under, and it's much better to have the local entity as the permit, because then we can work with the Corps and get that done. So those are examples of in-kind contribution. And then, anything else that might, and in some cases, actually, in-kind contribution has worked where you have a particular program in the county, a workforce program, and there's something that's in then you might provide labor through that workforce program to do something on this project as well. And the other might be a situation where contractors who might be willing to volunteer time to the process, to the project, and that might be something that could be contributed as in-kind as well. So, I mean, in-kind can be as narrow or as broad as we can think it to be.
you mentioned 15 counties have signed on or are pending
Right.
with this agreement. Of the 15 counties, how many besides Marshall County has actually entered into projects?
We had a project, we're working on a project in Greenbrier County right now. That's a flood-related project. There's 2 projects going on there. In Mercer County, we were initiating a project for a stream blockage that whenever it rained hard, it would flood the road. And we did a site survey, and we said, sure, we'll be willing to come down and do this. This looks and then when we got back to BOH, came and cleaned it up, after originally saying they weren't going to. So, Fayette County is a new one. I gotta get my list here. We have had several projects in Kanawha County. Hancock County is new. The Marshall County, McDowell County is a fairly new agreement. Morgan County, we have entered into a 7-1-3-year agreement with the Morgan County Commission. Morgan County Commission is also unique, is that we've also entered into a couple of other agreements with the Morgan County Commission, was involving 8 watershed dams that are located in that county. And so this was an addition to that agreement. And so we haven't really done anything under 713U, but we have under the watershed agreement with them. Wetzel County is a new agreement. Randolph County, we are currently we worked with Randolph County based on some flooding that occurred in the community of Harmon in June of 2019. And then we were starting to work on a county LOAD project in that same area to work on similar to what the Marshall County project was, but now that's changed focus, so it's that project probably won't happen now. Pocahontas County, we just signed an agreement with, in Summers County, we just signed an agreement with Dodge. So those are, that's
Does
good.
local district have any projects in mind?
Well, that one, the one at Fort Pole, especially out Fort Pole Road and Green Valley, Prices Creek area, that's been, I guess, they brought it, made us all aware of how this thing is gonna play out, because we had the ice storm, and within 10 days, we had 3 inches of rain at our farm. I live on Mount Union, and I took pictures before with the trees in the creek at where Green Valley intercedes or comes into Fort Pole. Anyway, at there, I took before and after pictures, and we can already see the debris, and it got into the road at that point. And a lot of parents, I'm a coach also for track, so they get parents here, but a lot of the people that live there have reached out before and after this has happened. It's made us very aware of what's going on. So we got a lot of trash. We have dams that are building their way up and getting worse and worse. And I even see some along the Ritter Park area here, where there are a few trees down there that are certainly going to create problems in the future. And all that from out our way is coming this way. You know, that water, even the water on our farm feeds into Fort Pole Creek. And we were fortunate enough, we could do it ourselves to kind of take care of it. But a lot of these people, they don't have the access to a farm tractor and a chainsaw, and and a lot of them are older. And it's not the easiest thing in the world to do, and it's very dangerous. So those are obviously concerns at the moment, and I'm sure there will be more and more down the road. This ice storm is like nothing we've had in a long time. And even the Farm Service Agency is reaching out to farmers now to help them to clean up and rebuild fences and to do things like that. So that's helping the farmers, but it's not helping the guy that lives along Fort Pole Road. And maybe that's what we need to try to do, is to find something that we can help these people, because their property's gonna flood, lots of damage down the road. So something, is better than nothing, and we can maybe build on this thing and go forward with it and learn as we go, maybe.
I have 2 other questions.
Sure. I do want to make one thing clear, though, is that when we come in to look at a project, we look for projects that will reduce the greatest risk. It's not looking at an entire stretch of a stream and going through and removing every thing that's on that stream. We need to focus, because there's, West Virginia has about 40,000 miles of stream and it's 75% forested. So there's not enough money in the world to take care of every tree that falls over and falls into a creek.
That's what the power company says too.
Well, the problem with the power company is that they will cut the trees, or whoever they have, they cut the trees, and then they drop the trees, and those trees sometimes end up in the streams causing problems for us. So, it would be nice if they would take care of that problem.
So should we enter into this agreement with your agency, what would be the process for the public to get on our list? Would they contact the local agency, or, obviously they wouldn't contact the commission?
No,
What's the process for that?
what we like to do, and this is one of the things with these agreements with the 713, is that we like to work with people like Chad, because they know what the problems are. And so those would be, anything that is coming into the commission office or any county office would then be channeled to him, and then he would contact us. And we would give him a contact. Because the agreement actually does state who the technical contact.
Most of the calls I fielded during the ice storm with the flooding that was caused by the trees down were in culverts or ditches that were on the Department of Highways property that they own, the right-of-way. Would the Department of Highways be able to work collaboratively with us in this venture, or they're out of the mix?
I would hope that, those are discussions that we might be able to have. For example, in using that 713U agreement in Randolph County, we did work with the Department of Highways in order to get them to be involved in a project that did two things. One, it moved the stream back where it belonged, and two, protected the highway. And so with that communication, we were able to work. But it all started with that 703 agreement. And, you know, that's the other thing is that Chad knows who he contact, and it's not elaborate because government can be amazing who you get to. And then worse than that, you get sent all over the place, you know, when you make a phone call. But now he'll know who to call. He'll have contact. That person will be able to come in, and now he knows who I am, and if he doesn't get satisfaction there, he'll call me. Or you guys will call me.
Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you very much. And then if you have any other questions, I'm more than happy to assist you and come back. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Right. Moving on, the next item, 210513-097, the estate of Lita J. Lewis, regarding the closure of the estate. Mr. Watson?
This is an interesting case. It's a 17-year-old case where the bank who had filed the claim is now out of business. The petition is asking to allow the estate to be closed. It only had $5,000 in to begin with. And they want to allow the person to put up property or a bond to get it. Obviously, since the claim was filed on behalf of an entity that no longer exists, it would be my recommendation that we allow the estate to be closed and that the person who put up their property for the bond be allowed to retrieve it.
I would so move.
I will second that.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Next item would be a resolution of the Cabell County Commission in the matter of a resolution authorizing the purchase of a lot located at 4.5 Alley and 7th Street in Huntington, West Virginia, now currently being used for parking.
We are in an agreement. The closing is scheduled for this afternoon at 1:30. The owner will be in my office to sign the deed, and I will put the funds that we have agreed to pay for it in my escrow account and disperse the funds at the closing.
Questions? Motion?
I move to approve.
A second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The next item is a resolution authorizing item number 210513-099, resolution, Cabell County Commission authorizing the commission of the project funds for Cabell Huntington Wayne Home Investment Trust Fund. And
Good morning. Hi, Kathy Burns, and on behalf of the home program, this City of Huntington is the participating jurisdiction for the home program, which serves both Cabell County, the city limits of Huntington, as well as Wayne County. This was established nearly 30 years ago. It's called the Home Consortium. And so we bring before you today a specific activity for a home buyer new construction for a property at 3205 Cyrus Creek in Barbersville. These are U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, and there will be a new home, 3-bedroom, constructed and the lead entity on this is Habitat for Humanity, and I have Dana Michael here, who is the lead entity. And I do want to take the opportunity, we do have a new home director, and so Sarah Bostic is our new home director.
Hi,
and
Sarah.
so she, of course, will be working with all of you, and members on, Beth, of course, serves on the consortium board, and I believe Kelly does as well. And so we did meet with the advisory board, and they did recommend this to be brought to you all. And so we're asking that home dollars of $64,247,000 be allocated for this new home construction. We're happy to answer any questions.
If we're gonna allocate that, where does it come from?
Yes, it is federal dollars that we already have been awarded to us, and so these are dollars that have already been awarded, and so we are just allocating it specifically. At the time the budget was approved, it was just allocated for new home buyer construction, but we didn't have a specific property in mind. And so we're bringing it back to you today to let you know that this is the specific property that we're asking permission to spend the dollars for.
I would move to approve.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you very much, we appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us today. Next item, 210513-100, resolution, Cabell County Commission in the matter of regular meetings for the Cabell County Commission from July 1, 2021 to December 31, 2021. Same old schedule?
Yes.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. For those who don't have a copy of this, it is the second and fourth Thursdays at 10 o'clock.
Except for the 2nd November and 2nd December meetings, which are holidays, and they are on Tuesdays.
Okay. Next item is resolution regarding reclassification. Jordan Walker to full-time critical care paramedic, Kara Bays Hunt per diem paramedic, and Aaron Pemberton per diem paramedic. And is there any on the next page? No.
I move to approve.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next item is a letter from Irv Johnson, Cabell County Assessor, regarding the employment of Daniel Puckett as a full-time employee.
I move we approve. Is that going to be a new appraiser or?
We have a person retiring.
Okay. But it is an appraiser position?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Yes, that'll be paid through Val Fund budget.
right.
I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes. Item 210513-103, letter from Irv Johnson, Cabell County Assessor, regarding dog fund payment, $17.80 for the month of April 2021.
So moved.
I'll second.
Your friends have moved and seconded that big fund. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Irv.
You better make
I know you were on bated breath waiting for that action, I'm sure.
Digress just a moment. Irv is on the board of CISO, and at the CISO meeting yesterday, there was a question came up, and it had come to one of the commissioners with a waiting list, and the waiting list for delivery of food there is no waiting list for the delivery of food. As I understood it, there were 350 people that we deliver meals to daily, and that in-home care, which is what you would imagine it is, there are 19 people on the waiting list, but there's a lack of qualified workers. You agree with that, Irv?
Yes.
Good.
And while we're on that subject, just thank you all for what you do for CISO. When you hear the numbers and the amount of seniors we're feeding, it's incredible work that they do. And it's even more incredible that they have kept this running during all of COVID, and COVID went through the situation, and the executives came and drove trucks, and they've worked tirelessly. It's been amazing to keep the wheels on that bus. So thank you all for your support of that organization. It's a good one.
Thanks, Irv. Next item, 210513-104, resolution, Cabell County Commission in the matter of pledging temporary letters of credit by J.P. Morgan Chase Bank N.A., National Association.
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Next item is a resolution, item number 210513-105, in the matter of pledging of temporary letters of credit by West Banco Wheeling.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next item, 2105-13-106, resolution in the matter of advertisement for the invitation to bid for a fire escape painting project adjacent to the Cabell County Courthouse.
Move to approve.
Second.
Chad, want to say anything about that?
Well, I had a question. It seems a little flimsy when you walk on certain places. Is that included to be repaired with the?
No, this is just painting.
Okay. Is that gonna be addressed, or is there a problem with it? It just seems like it's flimsy when you walk on certain places still.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel it's.
No, it hasn't.
Have you all
been
noticed that
addressed.
when you walk?
I hadn't noticed anything,
Nope.
any different.
I will have it addressed.
Maybe it's my weight.
Anyhow, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Item 2105-13-107, letter to the Public Service Commission to protest both the, did you do both of them?
No, they're separate.
Just the water. 2021 West Virginia American Water increase request case 21-0369-42T.
I would like to move that we approve item 107 and 108, since they're similar. One's for the water company and one's for the power company. And we're opposing both of those rate increases for
Thank you.
anybody that wants to spread the word.
Good motion. Second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded that items 107, 108 be combined and voted on together, and been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. We have item 2105-13-109, a letter from Abby Reel, Director of Advocacy, Mountain Health Network, regarding Faith Health / Unite Us.
Bradley's here.
You want me to
Sure.
explain it? So,
You wanna say your name?
my name's Bradley Burke. I'm the Vice President of Cabell Huntington Hospitals Foundation and St. Mary's Foundation. We are asking Senator Manchin to include what in the old days would be considered an earmark, they don't call them that anymore, for a project called Faith Health Appalachia. And this is a program that we work with the churches to help get churches and neighborhood community groups, and we put people into the community to work with people who have specific needs, health needs, food needs, whatever it is. We're working with the church, so if they need transportation to get to their appointment, doctor appointment, that the church gets them to that doctor appointment. Or if they are food insecure, we're working with them to get them plugged into the agency. So there's a person in each, right now, 6 different communities in the county, working with churches to connect the churches with people who are in need and may not have transportation, or they just may not know what services are available to them. So this is a request. We're asking the commission to sign a letter to Senator Manchin to say, this is a good thing and we're behind it.
Questions? Motions?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded? You better do that. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion passes. Bradley, we will take care of that. Remember that CISO is in that business. I mean, you
Yep.
can, yeah. We have, next item on the agenda is 2105-13-110, additional senior levy funding for the Salvation Army of Huntington. Senior money for their programs of feeding and other things that they do for seniors. And I would move that.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Passes. Item 2105-13-111, approval of special funds budget, Fund 3207 American Rescue Plan, Act 2021.
I move to approve.
Second.
This one sets up separate fund and all that stuff.
Yes,
So we can carry our bucket and get the money.
yes.
All in, been moved and seconded, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next item is 210513-112, approval of special funds budget fiscal year 2021-2022.
And this is all the special funds for the 21-22 fiscal year, and it includes, dog fund, master corps, JV, the senior levy, fire and economic development, but it also does include the new 207 voted on it for the 2021 year, or 21-22 year. And I did the half for this, setting up the new budget, the 9.8, I believe it was, for this current year to set it up, and then I went ahead and put the whole 17.83 budgeted into next year.
I move we approve.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next item is item 210513-113, resolution of the Cabell County Commission, County Budget Revision Number 10.
This is the county clerk moving money in her line items.
Move we approve.
Contracted services to capital outlay.
Second, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next item, 210513-114, Cabell County Commission State Budget Revision Number 8.
This is a budget revision to move money from the reimbursement under the CARES monies that we received this year into the prosecuting attorney's budget. It was $3,819. That was part, I think he spent actually about $7,000, but the CARES Act reimburses $3,819. That was for purchase of some computers, I believe, for working from home, and that's how much they approved, so we're putting that money into his budget.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Next, we have before us the 210513-115, executive session regarding opioid litigation.
I move we go into executive session to discuss the opioid litigation.
I will second that.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those of you who together, Cabell Huntington Health Department Board Meeting, March 24th, 2021, Pea Ridge Public Service District Regular Board Meeting, March 8th, 2021, and additional documents to be recorded is a letter from the West Virginia Department of Agriculture with average daily participation entitlements. Cabell Huntington Health Department Board of Directors Report 4/28/21, Cabell Huntington Health Department Threat Preparedness for March 2021, Cabell Huntington Health Department Environmental Board Report March 2021, Monthly Statement of Assessor Cabell County, West Virginia for month of April 2021, Pea Ridge Public Service, whoever they are, Field and Managers Report, February 21, Pea Ridge PSD, General Ledger Balance Sheet and Income Statement, period 9, ending 2021, Cabell County Assessor's Tax Rate Sheet, to be placed on record.
So moved.
A second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. And that passes, or will be recorded. Commissioners' representation reports the good and welfare of Cabell County. I have one thing, just because they did it. The House of Delegates of the state of West Virginia, the legislature, pleased to ensure closed a citation with the Cabell County Commission County elected officials and county employees, legislators from around the state signed onto this citation to recognize the incredible work that the county officials have done throughout the past year. It was originated by Delegate Doug Scaff and signed by most of the delegates. I presume some were not available. Put that in the records. Is there any other business to come before this meeting? Guess we're adjourned.